A trip to Munich to watch Spurs play Bayern Munich in our last pre-season game, and a trip to the BMW Museum and the Showroom. Their trophy cabinet here is absolutely unreal. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. As you can see here, 4:56 AM at the airport. This is going to be Tottenham's last pre-season friendly before that big game next week, PSG in the Super Cup. So I'm on my way to Munich. Bayern Munich v Tottenham Hotspur. So just arrived in Munich. It took about an hour and a half. We were actually early, in fact. When on earth does that ever happen on a flight? Anyway, beautiful and sunny here. And I've been to Munich a fair few times, but never ever visited the BMW Museum. So I am going to take a look today. So just walking now to the BMW Museum here in Munich. And I thought I'd talk Tottenham for a couple of minutes during the walk. Now, of course, this is our 6th and final pre-season friendly before that huge game next week in Italy, the Super Cup final against PSG. And then, of course, Saturday week, the Premier League season starts at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Burnley. Now, Spurs need to do so much more in this transfer window if we want to fight on all fronts. Of course, we've got a couple of signings in, but Spurs need a lot more, especially now James Maddison is out. Number 10 is absolutely key. Thomas Frank needs the tools to be able to fight on all fronts in the Premier League, in the Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, and of course the Super Cup next week. Now let's start talking about the 5 pre-season friendlies that we have played so far. 2 wins, 3 draws. Of course, I've just come back from Hong Kong and South Korea. Really enjoyed that trip for so many reasons. And really enjoyed watching Thomas Frank up close and personal with his staff and his players. And I'll tell you what, I was really, really impressed with him. His level of communication with the staff, his level of communication with all of his players. He does a lot of running around on the training pitch, and he communicates a lot with every single staff member, every single player. He stops the training sessions every 5 minutes or so, goes round to all of the players. I posted many videos, I hope you watched them. And yeah, really impressed with the way that he works. Haven't really seen a Spurs manager do that before, certainly in recent years. So it's nice that he is so communicating with his staff members and the players, and he is trying to get that message across exactly what is expected of all of the players. I'll tell you what I can't get my head around still is Heung-min Son leaving Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, it was a very sad and emotional day the other day in South Korea, especially at the end of the game after we drew 1-1 against Newcastle in Seoul. And in the last couple of hours, I've seen videos of him sitting watching Los Angeles Football Club, his new club that he is just about to sign for, and it just feels really, really weird. It feels like we have lost a legend. It feels like we have lost our superstar player, and I feel like Spurs have so much to do in this transfer window. I felt at the start of the window that there was a lot to do, and I feel like now there is like a mountain to climb if we want to be fighting on all fronts. I get the fact that Thomas Frank will improve certain players, and will have a great input, but he also needs the players in this transfer window, because when you look at other teams, our rivals, teams that finish mid-table even, they've all strengthened, and they've all got stronger. Yes, we've got a couple of signings in, but we need to do so much more. Maddison, of course, out injured. Kulusevski out for the start of the season. Udogie, of course, didn't travel on the Asia tour. We don't know how long he is out for. So we have a lot of injuries even before the Premier League season starts. And yeah, we're 1 week away from that PSG game, which is going to be very, very difficult. Anyway, Spurs face Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena tomorrow on Thursday evening. 5:30 p.m. local time kickoff, 6:30 UK time kickoff. Of course, we'll be facing Harry Kane. João Palhinha is set to make his debut against his parent club. That's going to be an interesting one. He is certainly the number 6 that we have been crying out for the last couple of seasons. So really interested and really looking forward to seeing him put on that Spurs shirt for the very first time. Of course, they are the Bundesliga champions. They got to the quarterfinals and lost to Inter Milan last season in the Champions League. And I think it's very fair to say, and no disrespect to the teams that we have faced so far, in Reading, Wickham, Luton, Arsenal and Newcastle, this Bayern Munich game is probably Tottenham's biggest test of this pre-season. And I would imagine that Thomas Frank, his starting 11 against Munich on Thursday, would pretty much be the starting 11 that he will play next week against PSG. Anyway, I'm nearly at the museum, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes. So I've just been told there are actually 2 sites to visit. One is a museum, and one is a walk-around site where you visit a lot of cars. So I will try and do both. So first up, the BMW showroom. Let's have a look at all of the latest cars they've got on offer. These cars are amazing. Nice car, but of course not in red. So they've also got this huge BMW shop. Now look at this beauty. So now on to the Mini collection. Yeah. So this showroom area is completely free to visit, and then the idea is you go up this bridge, across the bridge, and then to the museum, and that is the part where you do pay. So the ticket prices for the museum, €14, or a family of 5, €32. It actually says online the recommended time here is 1 hour. Absolute rubbish. You could spend all day in here. If you are a car enthusiast, and especially BMW, you will want to spend many hours here. Johnson again, ole, ole. So as I mentioned, €14 to go around the BMW Museum, and it is well worth it. Thoroughly recommend it. If you've ever got a couple of spare hours in Munich, you've got to do this. So thoroughly enjoyed that trip to the BMW Museum and the showroom. As I said, highly recommended. Now, Fabrizio Romano has just stated that Spurs in the last couple of days have inquired about the availability of Jack Grealish. Now, apparently Spurs have inquired about Jack Grealish just to learn about his situation and what Spurs would need to do. It's nothing more than that though. No concrete bids or no talks with the player. It is just to find out his situation. Now, I know whenever I've mentioned Jack Grealish on the channel in the last 6 months or so, in the last couple of transfer windows, including this one, I know there's been a very mixed opinion on him. In my opinion, and I'm going to stick to what I've said before, I feel like he has star quality. I feel like there is a lot in him. I feel like he is still very hungry, wants to be in the England squad, and has vast Premier League experience. Would he be a star player for Tottenham? I think he would be, and I think he would fit in extremely well under Thomas Frank, and I feel like he could be a star player at Spurs. So if Tottenham Hotspur could get this deal done, I would welcome it. Let me know what you think. So a quick trip to the Allianz Arena, the home of FC Bayern. Of course, Spurs will play Bayern Munich here tomorrow evening, our last pre-season friendly before that Super Cup game against PSG, and of course the Premier League season starts Saturday week against Burnley. So this is actually the second biggest stadium in Germany, behind Borussia Dortmund. Now, this stadium was built between 2003 and 2005. It opened in May 2005, over 20 years ago now. And it cost 340 million euros to build. Now, as I said earlier, a big test for Spurs in the pre-season friendly tomorrow night on Thursday here at the Allianz Arena. And we're also hearing that Heung-min Son will officially be announced as the new Los Angeles Football Club player at 10 PM UK time tonight, as he will be holding a press conference in LA. And Spurs boss Thomas Frank on pre-season, he's come out and said that he has been pleased with what he's seen so far from the team and the squad, but the team also need to do more. I've got to say, actually, in the few times I've actually visited here and watched games here watching Tottenham, the leg room is very generous. Much better than a lot of grounds around Europe. I've just been told the friendly between Bayern Munich and Tottenham on Thursday, there is a trophy at stake. Yes, another trophy. This time, Spurs and Bayern Munich will be playing for the Telecom Cup. So a quick visit inside the stadium, and now on to the museum. So on the exterior of this stadium, these are actually ETFE plastic panels. The first stadium in the world with a full colour changing exterior. So literally the second you get into the museum, you're just greeted with so many trophies.
Açı. Olabilecek kupalardan sonra.
Ich habe gehört, ich habe einen Vorredner Michael Henke bekommen, der ist
Their trophy cabinet here is absolutely unreal. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do put your score predictions in the comments section below. Bayern Munich v Tottenham, our last pre-season friendly before we take on PSG next week in the Super Cup final. And the Premier League games are just around the corner. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great week. I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.